Okay, here's a thought. What if the most helpful, most detailed content you create for your customers is also, secretly, your biggest competitive risk? It sounds kind of crazy, right? But it could completely change how you think about customer support. So let's dive in.
And just so we're all on the same page, the information we're covering today comes straight from Chapter 5 of a tutorial by Virtualization Options LLC. They really dig into the exposure risks in customer service and support.
And this really brings us to the core question, the big one for today. Is all that amazing customer support content you've put out there, is it unintentionally training your competitors' AI? It's a pretty startling idea, but it's one we absolutely have to explore. To really get how this works, we first need to look at what's called the exposure landscape. You see, every single piece of public support content, from one little forum post to a huge knowledge base article, it all creates a permanent digital footprint. It's like a trail of breadcrumbs that AI models are just gobbling up, learning from, and making part of their core knowledge.
I mean, think about your public knowledge bases and all that technical documentation. For your customers, they're fantastic. But for an AI, they are an absolute treasure trove of troubleshooting steps, configuration guides, you name it. This gives them an incredibly deep understanding of how your product is built, what it's good at, and maybe more importantly, where its weaknesses are.
And it doesn't stop there. This goes for community forums and public support discussions too. And AI isn't just reading one question. Nope. It's analyzing patterns across thousands of them. It's spotting common problems, recurring weaknesses, and can even piece together internal system details from screenshots or error codes that your customers share. It's almost like having a spy that can read every single public complaint at the exact same time. This whole double-edged sword thing is really obvious in your product changelogs and release notes. To your customers, they're great. They show you're always improving. But to a competitor's AI, they reveal your development priorities, your technical debt, and sometimes, if you're not careful with the wording, even security holes you've just patched. So how do you find out what an AI actually knows about you? It's simple. You ask it. So now, we're going to open up the Investigator's Toolkit. These are the exact prompts from the source material that you can use to check out your own organization's exposure.
You can start with something simple but incredibly powerful, like this. Asking an AI about the common issues with your product? Well, it's a direct test of what it's learned from all those customer pain points. The answer you get back is basically a summary of every public complaint and forum post it's ever read about you.
Okay, this next one gets even more specific. When you ask directly for limitations or known bugs, you're digging for information that your competitors can use against you, like tomorrow. They can literally plug that into their marketing. Tired of your product's bug? We fix that. Or use it to guide their own roadmap to fill the gaps in your product. Now, what's really revealing about this prompt is the level of detail you might get back. If an AI can give you a perfect step-by-step troubleshooting guide for a really complex issue, that means it hasn't just scraped a few keywords. It has understood and rebuilt your detailed technical procedures, probably straight from your own knowledge base. And for the final test in our little toolkit, try asking the AI to summarize your documentation for a specific feature. If it can do that, and do it well, that's a massive signal that it has ingested and processed huge chunks of your public content. It's not just finding bits and pieces anymore. It's practically read your entire user manual. Okay, so you've run the prompts, you've got some answers back, and maybe some of them were a little surprising. So what's next? Well, the next step is to analyze what you found and actually score the risk. Because not all exposed info is the same. We have to figure out where it falls on the spectrum, from just being helpful to being actively harmful. You know, this kind of exposure happens on a spectrum. Down at the bottom, basic product info, that's probably fine. But as you climb up to things like configuration details and known issues, the risk starts to go up. The real danger zone, though, that's when an AI can start describing your internal architecture or, worst case scenario, security-sensitive information. Now that is a serious problem. This chart here shows the idea perfectly. You've got your general FAQs and setup guides way over on the low-risk side. But as that content gets more and more technical, moving into known issues, API docs, and especially deep architectural or security info, that risk level just skyrockets. The takeaway is crystal clear. The more technical the public info, the bigger the danger. All right, so we've laid out the problem, we know how to measure it. Now let's talk about the good stuff, the solution. How in the world do you protect this knowledge while still giving your customers amazing support? It's all about strategic protection. So the source gives us a four-part strategy here. First up, layer your documentation. Keep the general guides public for sure, but maybe put the super deep technical stuff behind a customer login. Next, you have to actively moderate your public forums. Know when to say, hey, let's move this conversation to a private support ticket. Third, it's about how you write. Focus on the user's what and how, not the internal architectural why. And finally, you've got to be proactive. Regularly review your most popular support articles, because those are the ones AI models are hitting the hardest.
At the end of the day, this isn't about locking down all of your support content and hiding it away. I mean, that would be a terrible customer experience. The real goal here is to achieve what we call strategic transparency. It's about making a conscious, deliberate choice about what information is public and what's protected, so you can minimize that unintended competitive exposure.
And that really leaves us with one final, big question to chew on. Your support content is out there, public, designed to help. But after all this, you really have to ask yourself, who is it really serving? Is it your customers, or is it your competition?